My name's Christina and you're watching Proud Book Lion. And hopefully if you're watching this the day when I post it, it will be the 4th of March, which is the last day of NEDA Week. And NEDA Week stands for National Eating Disorders Awareness Week. And as somebody that has struggled with disordered eating and is now in a fairly stable and strong recovery, this topic is something that I'm very passionate about, and I really want to spread more awareness, and I want to inform everybody about the fact that if you or somebody close to you are in need of help, they are able to get that. You are able to get that. And even if I'm not American, NEDA, the National Eating Disorders Association, I'll leave the link down below, has still managed to help me and provide me with more information, especially about the different illnesses and about how to actually get help, even if I am in Sweden and I've gotten help from Sweden's system. I see a psychologist weekly, so you do not have to worry about me right now. I ate blueberries just a couple of seconds ago. I am doing really surprisingly well, and I am super duper grateful for that and thankful for that, and that is a lot thanks to Emma from Emma Books and her videos about especially then eating disorders and her being just an amazing human being. So therefore today, as it's the last day, I wanted to do a video talking about 5 misconceptions about eating disorders, and to every misconception I'll recommend you a book. So let's just begin, I suppose. So the first one that I get to hear a lot, or I've seen a lot, especially when I'm in the earliest of my recovery and I was on sites that you should not visit, so I won't say any names, but it was that you eat so you can't have an eating disorder, because apparently some people believe that you have to not eat in order to have anorexia nervosa, for example. And I mean, if you don't eat at all, you die. And most of us that are struggling with disordered eating are alive. So, you know, struggling, it means that it's happening, so you have to be alive for that. So I'm not really sure where it got from, but some people truly believe that you cannot struggle if you eat. And they apparently aren't aware that there are so many different illnesses within eating disorders. There are binge eating, there's bulimia nervosa, there's anorexia nervosa, there is orthorexia, there's purging disorder, there's pica and rumination disorder. There are a lot of different types of eating disorders, and even if you don't have a diagnosis of an eating disorder, you can still struggle with disordered eating, and you can still be in a position where your eating habits and your relationship with food and with exercise is dangerous and can even be deadly, even if it does not fit all the criteria for a certain illness. So I just want to make that clear. And if you're anxious yourself that you might be in a position where your relationship with food and with exercise might not be healthy, or if you're anxious about a loved one and that their relationship with food and exercise is not healthy, then I would highly recommend Almost Anorexic by Jennifer G. Thomas and Jenny Schaefer. They are lovely human beings, and I love this book. There are a lot of tests that you can take if you're anxious, and it provides you with more information, and it helps you both grow a better relationship with food and exercise, and it also gives you tips on what to do if you feel like you're not in a healthy mindset right now, and it just provides you with loads of information in a very understandable way, and it has stories from all different ages, all different humans in different positions, as mothers, as married husbands, as young children, as older children. There's just loads of personal real life stories from real life humans that somehow have sadly gotten some kind of disordered mindset or habits when it comes to food and exercise, which does happen, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. And this book is a great help, and it's a great way to maybe see if you might be in risk of creating an unhealthy habit or unhealthy relationship, or if your loved one might be struggling. So I would highly, highly recommend this book. Then I have the phrase, misconception, that eating disorders are for attention, because of course there is no better way to get attention than to create an unhealthy relationship with food or exercise that will probably impact you for a lot of years and maybe your entire life. Yes, of course, that's absolutely, obviously not the case in any case. You do not get eating disorders because of attention. Like, you do not choose eating disorders. There's nothing that you choose about them, and you do not have them for the fact that you want attention. There's other ways to get attention, and I promise you that nobody wants an eating disorder, and nobody has an eating disorder for the attention, so to say. And for that, I'm recommending An Untamed State by Roxane Gay. I want to put a content warning not only on anorexia nervosa, but on physical and mental assault and sexual assault and rape and abduction. So there's a lot of trauma that goes into that book, and as a result of this trauma, the character develops an eating disorder, which I believe is anorexia nervosa. I don't believe that she ever gets a diagnosis. But yeah, that book does show how trauma can be one of the reasons why you develop an eating disorder, and how it obviously is not and will never be for the so-called attention. Then I have the lovely phrase that I literally want to throw on a wall because I've heard it with my bisexuality as well. Eating disorders, or an eating disorder, is just a phase. Yeah. If you read Life Without Ed, you know that eating disorders are not just a phase. Jenny Schaefer has dealt with an eating disorder for almost her entire life. Like, her earliest memories are with an eating disorder, and that just proves the fact that eating disorders can affect you at any age, and they're not just phases that you automatically grow out of. I'll probably never grow out of my bisexuality. I might change labels, I might realize that I'm something else, but that is not something that I'll do without anything happening right now. And I mean, sexuality and mental illnesses aren't the same thing, but I promise you that eating disorders are not a phase. And please, if your loved one or somebody you know has an eating disorder, do not treat it as a phase that they'll automatically grow out of, because recovery is a choice. Eating disorders are not a choice, and EDs are not phases that you automatically grow out of. I wish there were, but recovery takes a lot of you, it takes a toll on you, and it demands that you make that active choice every single freaking day, which can be really hard, but I promise you it's so unbelievably worth it. But they are not just phases. So please don't treat it as a phase, because it's never a phase. It's like you would not go to somebody that has cancer and say that it's just a phase, because eating disorders are the mental illness that has the highest mortality rate. Eating disorders are deadly illnesses, and you do not treat a deadly illness as a phase. That's just not accepted on any playing field or any level. So please do not treat eating disorders as a phase, because they are definitely not just phases. There are deadly illnesses and they should be treated like so. Then I have that eating disorders are choices or jokes, because they are usually treated as jokes and choices. Like, somebody chooses to have an illness in like TV shows and stuff, and they like joke about it and everything's fun, but like I've told you, it has the highest mortality rate. There's nothing fun about living with or dealing with disordered eating, and even if I don't have many behaviors left, I still have a lot of flaws left, and they're not fun to deal with. And I don't appreciate jokes. If you call somebody just because they are skinny anorexic, that is not fun to me. That is diminishing an illness that has taken several lives. So yeah, I don't see the fun in that. And as I said, it's never a choice. You never choose to get an illness. And I mean, you don't choose to get a cold, or you don't choose to get cancer, you don't choose to get bipolar disorder. Those things happen to you. And within like the eating disorder recovery community, we have this like saying of that genes load the gun and the environment pulls the trigger, which is very fitting because there's usually something that might trigger it. You have the genes that you carry, and then you perhaps go on a diet, because diets are not the same thing as having an eating disorder, but it can trigger an eating disorder. Maybe you experience some kind of trauma. Maybe there are just a lot of things going on in your life and you're looking for control, or there's something else. Like, there's not always this one specific trigger or this one specific reason why you actually develop an eating disorder. But one thing that's clear is that it's not a choice. You do not get to like press a button and say, I want an eating disorder. That's not how it works, and that some people literally believe that is just, I don't understand them. But I have The Princess Saves Herself in this one. It's a poetry collection, and some of the poems do deal with having an eating disorder, and I truly adore this poetry collection, and the entire like theme is of becoming stronger, and instead of making the choice to get an eating disorder, which is not a choice, and it's a choice that you literally cannot make, you are able to make the choice to try to recover, and you're able to choose recovery over and over and over again, because it's never too late to choose recovery, and recovery is always a possibility, no matter where you are in your life, no matter your age, no matter how long you've dealt with your disordered eating or disordered relationship with food and exercise. You have the power within yourself, and you are worthy of recovery. So yeah. And then the last misconception is that only white skinny girls get affected by eating disorders, or that you automatically become skinny when you get an eating disorder or you have an eating disorder, which is not true. You can be affected regardless of your age, gender, weight, race, ethnicity, hair color, eye color, gender, sexuality. The illness do not care who it affects. It just cares that it wants to continue to destroy your or your loved one's life. It does not care about those things. There are black people with illness, there are Latinas, there are white people, there are brown, black, every color is affected. And I mean, just because you're black doesn't mean that you don't get the illness. Just because you're a male does not mean that you're not getting the illness. It's just such a mind-blowing, I don't even know, like, you know how illnesses work, don't you? Like, anybody can be affected by cancer, so anybody naturally can be affected by eating disorders. Even if I know that the representation in media is very limited, and when it is represented, it's usually represented with anorexia nervosa, white, skinny, teenage girl. And that's not the case. And that means that a lot of people are prevented from seeking help as they believe they do not have the illness, or they are in a group where the illness isn't able to affect them, even if that's not the case. And that's why I love Not Otherwise Specified, because it deals with OSFED, which is otherwise specified eating or feeding disorder, and it deals with a black main character that's also bisexual that is recovering from an eating disorder. So it does show that anybody, regardless of who they are, regardless of who they look, regardless of who they love, can be affected by eating disorders. And that's just something to keep in mind, because you need to be able to understand that anybody can be affected by this illness. And as somebody that has struggled with disordered eating, that still some days struggle, but is in strong recovery and know that recovery is possible and will continue to recover, I am just wishing all of you that are in recovery the best of luck. All of you that have yet to begin with your recovery, the best of luck. And to all of you that's affected by the illness in some way, even with having a loved one with it, or with having experience of it yourself, I'm just wishing you the best of luck with your lives, because everybody struggles with something. And for me, that happened to be disordered eating, and I have loads of other struggles as well, but disordered eating is something that I have struggled with, and I just want to bring awareness when it comes to eating disorder, because as loads of things, especially related to mental health, we do not speak about them enough. And just the fact that I was able to get help thanks to videos and thanks to humans being open and talking about it, I want to continue to do that and continue to have the discussion open and try to bring awareness to some of the misconceptions and just the eating disorders as a whole, because you all deserve happy and fulfilling lives, and you're not able to have a fulfilling life with an active eating disorder. But with the choice of recovery and with being in recovery and what that gives you, you're able to have a happy and fulfilling life. I just want to make that clear. So keep on trying your best and keep on fighting, because you are so very worthy of having the best lives ever. And I just wish you the best of luck and happy last day of Neither Week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to me, and I hope you have a great day / night / whatever part is for you. Bye!